Learning music theory basics is really fast and easy. Hey, this is Brad Chittister from the Music Theory Workshop, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about music theory basics and what it takes to get started. I found out learning the basics of music theory is really easy, but you wouldn't know that talking to most new or even experienced music students. They all complain about how hard it is to remember the elements of music. Believe me, I understand this because there's a tremendous amount of things you need to learn in music. You know, when you study in a textbook method, it's overwhelming. Look at Wikipedia here in their harmony page. It's just going to make your brain hurt just trying to read that academic spew. You know, when you're really taught, you're taught in a play a simple song way. You get a whole bunch of disjointed pieces of basic music theory that don't really come together. Matter of fact, you progress in a haphazard way. It can take months and sometimes years to connect these principles together. You know, it's really not the rules of music theory that are at fault. It's the method. It's the way that it is taught, because it's taught in a do this, don't do that kind of a fashion rather than a building up type of fashion. So, you know, music is a language. It is made up of an alphabet, words, phrases, and sentences. Sure, learning any language can be hard, but if you take a systematic step-by-step approach, it doesn't take too long to learn the basics of conversation. Music is really closer to a mathematical language that is turned into a beautiful oratory. So if you know the basic math of addition and counting, you'll be easily able to learn the music theory basics. So where is it do you start? Well, you look at the symbols of notes, which are nothing more than representations of time and position. In a geometric sense, on a graph, with the first axis, the horizontal, as time, the note symbols represent the amount of time that is played or silent. You know that as rhythm. In the vertical axis, the note represents the pitch to be played. The vertical axis is the master staff with the 4 octaves of music tones and almost 50 notes that can be played. And with the addition of a few ledger lines and other notation, it gets extended up to the 88 notes for the full piano keyboard. Combining both of these elements allows the notes to lay out a flow similar to reading a story. This is the place where most people start music theory basics, with note, pitch, and rhythm. Although this is the start, you will still need to build more music theory basics. The next steps involve stepping into more complex structures and learning formulas to define key signatures, scales, and chords. The first time I was taught a chord, it was done by showing me the notes and memorizing the note names. With over 1,000 possible combinations for chords, well, you want to talk about hard? But when I learned 4 simple formulas, that is as simple as 4 plus 3, I didn't need to learn every note name for every chord. Now, why learning music theory can be easy. With this broad brush overview, you'll have now gathered a few hints about an easier way to learn the basics of music. So here's the key to what it takes to make your music journey and music skill accelerate at a phenomenal pace and do it easily. 1. You want to study music theory separately from your day-to-day musical instrument practice. Then bring it back to your practice time after you're done. Second, you want to put in a focused, concentrated effort on each music rule or principle that is going to be learned. And this really only takes 10 or 15 minutes at a whack, maybe 2 to 4 times a week. It's really not that much and not that hard. 3. When learning a rule, make sure you complete all of it before moving to the next subject. A straight line through one simple thing makes a whole lot more sense than jumping all over the place. 4. Use a method that engages your visual senses, your physical sense, and your auditory sense. And what I mean by this is you want to see patterns when you're looking at your music theory. In a physical sense, you actually want to sit down and write some of this stuff out. You want to tap rhythms out. You need to engage that physical sense rather than reading the textbook. And in the auditory sense, I mean saying and counting and listening. Saying and counting are really important here because it really is that third thing that connects all that music theory together. And the 5th thing is use a method that builds on the last significant music principle and reinforces your overall understanding. Here's an example. When I learned the master staff, we didn't do it in pieces. We learned it through a story that covered the location of all the notes. In less than 30 minutes, we knew how to find all the notes on the master staff in both clefs. No, they weren't in memory yet, but the process was in place for making it easy to figure them out. Memorization came to the use of flashcards, working to recite all the notes in under 40 seconds. It took me less than 3 weeks to master the master staff. So where do you get started? Well, the Music Learning Workshop has developed a complete music theory course materials for the beginner to the intermediate student. It uses strategies in a workshop methodology to promote a fast and easy mastery of the music theory basics. Now, I urge you to explore the Music Theory Workshop, where we have all these books in our tab called Instruction eBooks. You can review those in the Getting It Down Cold Music Courses and Lessons. That can help you learn over 4 years of music theory in under a year and have a long and successful music journey. Again, go over to the musictheoryworkshop.com, Getting It Down Cold Music Theory Lessons, and learn how you can learn the basics of music theory in no time at all.